everyone, and welcome to our second number corner of the week. Let's first look at the date today. The date today is April 7th, 2020. April is in red because that's the month. 7 is in green because that's the day. 2020 is in blue because that's the year. I have a quick question for you. What is the name of that right there? Do you remember what it's called? If you said comma, you're correct. When we write the whole date, we always put a comma after the day and before the year. You'll need to know that for when you write the date later today. Now that you've seen the whole date, April 7th, 2020, I want you to see if you can write the short date. I'll give you a couple hints to help. You should have one number, dash, a middle number, dash, one last number. If you've been watching our other number corner videos and you remember what we've been working on in school, you should be able to turn April 7th, 2020 into a short date using only numbers. Remember to use your Jack Hartman song to help you, especially for this part. Good luck! Now let's see if we can find April 7th, 2020 on the calendar. First, look for the number 7. You should see it right here. Now you're going to use your days of the week to figure out what day of the week it is today. If you go up the column, you will see that today, April 7th, 2020, is a Tuesday. Now let's look at our calendar pieces for today. Remember that our calendar pieces for the month of April are going to be one of 4 types of words. It might be a picture that shows length, that shows how long something is. It might be a picture showing weight, that shows how heavy something is. It might show capacity. That shows how much of something fits into something else. And last, it might show temperature. That means how hot or cold something is. Let's look at the calendar pieces we've had so far. April 1st showed length. April 2nd showed weight. April 3rd showed capacity. April 4th showed temperature with our friend Mr. Penguin. Then we started to repeat our pattern. April 5th showed length. Yesterday, April 6th showed weight. Which word do you think is going to be shown on our calendar picture today? Make a prediction. Is it going to be length, weight, capacity, or temperature? Let's see if you're correct. Our calendar piece for today is this picture right here. It looks like seeds inside of a measuring cup. If you look closely, you can see it's showing this is a half of a cup. So our picture today is showing capacity. If you guessed the word capacity, nice job. You are starting to catch on to our calendar pattern. Now let's talk about our days in school. We have been in school now, including our digital learning days, for 129 days. We're going to practice representing 129 on 10 frames. Since Mrs. Wriggler's whiteboard is much smaller here than it is at school, remember that we're going to have to use our brain for the first 100. 10 frames equals 100. Imagine that and put it in your brain. Then we'll use these other 10 frames to count the rest. If we put 100 in our brain, we can keep counting by tens, stop, and then count by ones. Put 100 in your brain. 110, 120, stop, we stop because this 10 frame down here is not quite full, so we can't count by another set of 10. After 120, we count 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128. But today our number is 129. How many dots do I need to add? You're right, just one. Now our 10 frames show 129. Let's look at this last 10 frame. We have 5 on the top and we have 4 on the bottom. 5 plus 4 is 9. That shows the ones place of our number 129. Now let's look at 129 on our link hook. Just like our previous, we have to imagine the other links because Mrs. Regler does not have room for all those links on this tiny whiteboard. So we're just paying attention to the ones place of our number 129. How many links do you see on the hook right now? If you said 8, you're correct. So how many links do we need to add today? We need to add 1. What color will it be? You're right, it will be blue. Now let's look at a number sentence for these links. We have 5 red plus 4 blue equals 9. And that's showing the 9 in our number 129. Now let's look at 129 on a number line. Here's our number line. Right now it goes from 120 to 128. Before we write in 129, I want to ask you about evens and odds. What kind of numbers are the red numbers? 121, 123, 125, and 127. Are those numbers even or odd? If you said odd, you are correct. The red numbers are odd. It means they cannot be shared fairly. That means our green numbers, 122, 124, 126, and 128, are what kind of numbers? If you said even, you are correct. That means those numbers can be shared fairly. If we're going to add 129 to the number line, what color will it be? If you said red, you are correct. 129 is an odd number, so we want to make it red. Now let's go through and count these numbers. I'm going to move the numbers while you count them for today. I'll start and then let you finish. We're going to start with 120. You keep going. Good job. Hopefully you counted all the numbers. What number do you think is going to be tomorrow? Make a prediction and we'll see if you're correct by watching the Number Corner video tomorrow. Now let's look at our frog and toad graph. We are graphing frogs and toads for the month of April. Right now, we have more toads than we have frogs. I'm going to spin my spinner and show you what I land on today. Today I landed on frog. We color frogs green, so we're going to color another frog piece on our graph. If we look closely at our graph, I have a couple questions to ask you. Which one has more, frogs or toads? That was a trick question. Neither one has more because they are the same. Toad has 2 and frog has 2. Now let's see if we can use this information from our graph to write a new number sentence. Here are our old number sentences. We started with 1 plus 0 equals 1. Then we had 1 plus 1 equals 2. Yesterday we had 1 frog plus 2 toads equals 3. Let's look back at our graph to see what we need to write today. How many frogs do we have? 2. How many toads do we have? Also 2. This is a doubles fact because 2 and 2 are the same number. What is 2 plus 2? If you said 4, you're correct. Nice job. Tomorrow, we'll add to our graph and then fill in our last number sentence before we switch frog and toad recording sheets. Let's look at the last problem of your Number Corner video for today. It's time for our Word Problem Challenge. I love seeing pictures of you figuring out your answers and looking at your number sentences. So far, you guys are doing a really good job. Here's our word problem for today. Listen carefully. Mrs. Wriggler bought 6 fiction books at the bookstore. She also bought 6 more non-fiction books at the bookstore. How many total books did Mrs. Wriggler buy in all? You need to decide before you solve if this is a plus problem or a minus problem. Today, I'm not going to help you with the key words. That's your job. So read it again or listen to me read it again and look at words that might help you decide whether or not you should add or subtract. I'll read it one more time for you. Mrs. Wriggler bought 6 fiction books at the bookstore. She also bought 6 more non-fiction books at the bookstore. How many total books did Mrs. Wriggler buy in all? Once you've decided whether you should add or subtract, draw a picture and write a number sentence. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Good luck! And happy Tuesday! I'll see you tomorrow for a new Number Corner.